there's an explosion down. From what I'm hearing from the investment community and from Ken and the people is that we're looking at about probably a 66% drop from the high. So hitting a 10,000 in the market would not be out of the question. So we're looking at a massive drop. There's usually 12 to 15 months of it sitting at the bottom and kind of bouncing around. And then there's about a 4-year recovery and an explosion back the other way that doesn't happen straight up like the down does, but there's a overtime. And so right now we're in the crisis part of it, but we still got a long way to go down. So guys, this isn't going any, like the virus thing, I have no idea about. Doctors and viruses and that I don't know about. But what I do know about is the way these things act from an economic and the recession side of this thing. And what we want to talk about today is recession acceleration. And in that 2017 board meeting, Ken Polk looked at us and he said, you need to build this business with a framework that is such a way that it is recession accelerated. And so we built Gravy, we built the entire business model around being recession accelerated, which I'm not gonna go into all the details of how we did that, but our pricing is that way. The way that we structured, we've been virtual from the beginning. All these different things that we wanted to build recession accelerated, but there's a bigger framework, and I want to share with you right now. We're going to throw it up on the screen, the recession acceleration framework, and here's what it is. Recession acceleration is there's the funnel. So there's like always a funnel, right? And here's how it works. The main thing to notice in this funnel is the owner is at the bottom. And what we found when crisis happens, usually this framework flips and the owners move into self-preservation. How am I going to make it? How are we going to make it? I had 2 phone calls yesterday with people that lost, a guy that lost 100%, he's a multi-million-dollar company. He lost 100% of his Q2 revenue, gone. And he's not thinking about other people in this moment because he's lost all of his revenue. And that's to be expected. But after the shock of that you've got to understand that if you're going to accelerate through this recession, is that you've got to understand that the way this works is you've got to value the world. You say, what is the world? That's everybody out there. That's your from your LinkedIn community to your network to potential prospects and potential clients. This is people that are on your email list that haven't bought from you yet. This is just the world. These are not people you do business with, you have a relationship with necessarily. After that, there's clients. These are, or customers, whatever you want to call them. These are people that they buy from you. Then there's your team. These are people that you employ, whether it be full-time, part-time, 1099 or whatever. And then there's you. And the way to approach this is to look at it and realize that we've got to start with the world. We've got to start there. Our thinking and our mindset as business owners right now needs to be like, who do I need to be to the world? How do I need to present myself to the world? And what message do we need to bring to the world? And what message does your business need to bring to your world and to your prospects and to your community? And so as we started thinking about this, I talked to a couple people that are like scared to launch now. They like move their launches, or they're scared to market and sell. And one of the things I would say is that the bottom line to recession acceleration is the world has absolutely changed. And if you don't change, you're going to look like a moron. That's it. And so you can go about marketing and selling. Listen, we're busier than we've ever been at Gravy, but you've got to change some things. And so when it comes to the world, I want to talk about from a marketing standpoint, from a messaging standpoint, what this needs to look like in a couple of examples, and maybe it'll help you, okay? So from the world, you'll see on both sides of this, the 2 big things you need to be thinking about as a business owner right now is communication, and on the other side, you see opportunity. Communication and opportunity. And each bucket of world, customer, client, team, owner, you need to be thinking, how do I communicate and where's the opportunity there? So we're going to start down the communication side. When it comes to the world communication, the word is empathy. The word is empathy. And you say, what does that mean? Well, our SDRs, for instance, so our sales development reps, we have people that go out, they send direct messages to potential clients, and they say, hey, here we're great, we want to do business with you, want to add value to you, whatever it is, their script is. And so one of the first things we did is Tara, who leads that team, she instantly changed it. We went more audio. They sent audio messages. And in the audio message, we are absolutely talking about and acknowledging the fact that the world has changed. I'm getting so many messages in my direct messages from LinkedIn, from SDRs. I'm getting marketing automation emails from people. And if you don't take a minute to realize that if you're just going on as business as usual, if you're just letting your warm-up sequence go on, if for prospects, if everything for you is normal, if your website's staying the same, if you're not acknowledging this from a world standpoint, you just look like a moron. You look like you're out of touch. You look like you don't, and you say, well, this is a lot of work. Listen, I've prided myself on not being a busy CEO. I have worked more in the last week than I've worked in a very long time. And this is the time that we got to put in, and we've got to be there, and we've got to work, and we've got to change our messaging. We got to turn off the automation, turn on the empathy, and make sure that we're connecting in such a way. Another great example of a local business owner is Hartsock Barbecue. He's a barbecue guy. He just got voted about 4 weeks ago, the best barbecue in Georgia, right down the street. Their business went to crap. Restaurant, best barbecue in Georgia, then goes to absolute crap. Nobody's coming in. What he did from an empathetic standpoint is that he went out on Instagram and to their community and to their email list, and he said that he was going to feed any child if they knew of anybody. And he started saying, listen, we may be going out of business, but I'm going to feed kids along the way. And they're not going out of business, but not having anybody in there. And his heart was empathy to the world. Do that. Well, guess what happens is that people respond, and people then are able to go by and they're thinking about locally, if I'm going to pick up barbecue, I'm going to Stephen's place, because he was able to go out with a message of that direction, but it was connected to his business and it drove more business. And so my question for you is your message right now, your message going out to the world, empathy. How are you connecting with the world, and how are you making this work? It's absolutely essential. And if you don't do it, you're going to look like a complete moron. So that's the world. When it comes to our clients and communication, guys, personalization is where it's at. Personal. We have now like 199 clients. I think it's something like that. And we were going through the roster, and we're sending our retention specialists are sending one-on-one stuff, content, connection. Some are sending videos. We're sending out stuff directly, and we're doing complete personalization for every single client. Now, I know some of you guys have hundreds of clients. I know some of you have thousands of clients. I know some of you have hundreds of thousands of clients. You can't do that. But what you can do is provide access, just like we're doing today. You can open it up. You can turn off the what you got to do is turn off the hi, my name's Casey Graham, and I'm going to do a webinar today, and then I'm going to sell you something at the end. You got to turn that off for a second. And you got to, for your people that are already paying you, it's just open it up. Be real, be personalized, send specific things. Another thing I would say is you need to stop your automation. Like your automated stuff that just goes to your clients and just kind of goes out. You don't need to do that. Right now, it needs to be one-on-one, personalized, high touch, high access. High touch, high access. And that's what you should be doing with your clients. And what we found is the responses. I just got a text this morning. I gave my cell phone number to every client. And people said, you're crazy. And then I put on LinkedIn, yesterday, I did a post that's it's about to go viral. It's shooting up in the algorithm. It's crazy. I put my cell phone number on LinkedIn, and I've got people just texting me, calling me, or whatever. I'll give you my phone number right now. Josh, type it in, 770-881-2340, 770-881-2340, because we need to open up our availability right now to be there for business owners. And so I got this text message that says, hi, my name, says her name, and says, I became a new client of Gravy at the end of March, and I've just been amazed so far at your level of client care for us. And then she went on to say that she couldn't believe that we sent the phone number, that we couldn't do this. I'm not saying you have to send your phone number if you don't want to. But for me, right now, I want to be available. My granddad shot himself when I was 12 years old because of small business stress. And I've always had a heart for small business owners in such a way. And so turn off your polished stuff now and get nitty gritty down to it, and send personalized emails. Write every one of them, get into the nitty gritty. That's clients. The team, if you've got people you pay, being generous. Be over the top generous. And the way you communicate is generous. The way that you're accessible is generous. So I'm sending videos. So we have about 40 people on our team, upping the communication with them. We're doing, the other day we did a happy hour after work that we normally wouldn't do. We're opening up communication. We're opening up benefits. So one of the things that we did is we committed to, my wife and I, even outside the gravy budget, just personally, one of the things we wanted to commit to, we were sitting there saying, how can we be generous to the team in this time period, was any extra childcare costs that are incurred, if they need help with them, that we will personally cover those costs. Or for movies, we're buying movies. And so each week we're thinking of different things during this to say, how can we give more to our team? Not how do we take away, how do we give more? And what we found is that when you give more, everything is better. And you go, well, gosh, I don't have any money. It doesn't have to be monetary. Just give them your cell phone number, open up, be willing to talk, get on video chats, open up your life and open up and say, what can I give? How can I be there? How can I support? Divvy is a company. Divvy, great company. I think they're out of Salt Lake City. I'm not sure where their headquarters is. I think Salt Lake City. They just gave $150 gift cards to all of their team to go buy local food from local businesses. And so each week we're thinking of different things. What can we do? How can we support the team? How can we help them? What would that look like to be? We have an on-call chaplain service available as well. So we just said, hey, we'll pay for 30-minute phone call, on-call chaplain if you or your kid or your family or anything. Another thing that's worked really well for you guys that anybody can do is anybody that works with you, any contractors or maybe even third-party people, you can do an Amazon gift card for their kids. And because they're stuck at home right now, a $25 gift card, and say, hey, go a shopping spree on Amazon and go order something for kids. And so those are the kind of things that right now, of where you need to be as a business owner, is thinking, how can I give more, not how can I restrict more? And it may not be financial. It may be your time. It may be your heart. It may be something where you're generous. That's how you think with your team. And then from an owner perspective, communication. This is very important. This is why I put LinkedIn. I put my cell phone number on there. Was owner to owner is love. Like, think about this. When you own a business, it's already hard. Everybody thinks you're doing it because you want to go get rich and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, nah, like it's way harder than that. Yes, sometimes that does happen, but not all the time. And it's like really difficult. Maybe you just wanted the freedom or whatever. Here's my question. Are you thinking more about your self-preservation, or are you thinking about how can you love the other owners in your world better? How many messages have you sent people and just said, hey, how's it going? How can I help you? What can I do? How can I serve? Can I send you a referral? How are you loving other business owners right now? And that's what our attempt today was. Guys, listen, we're not trying to say we're best in the world, any of that kind of stuff. It's just we want to open up access, and we want to open up the framework in which we're operating off of, and we're accelerating through this. And I think you can too. And that's the communication side. And you notice the president's on TV every day right now. In a crisis, you need to be on TV every day. You need to be in your site messages. I'm there 7 days a week right now. Every single staff member, every single client, everybody has my cell phone number. And I just want everybody to know that we're in it with you and we're in it together. And that's that kind of thing wins in these kind of things. And what we're trying to do is be open. When the world is closing, we want to be open. And what happens is that allows you to accelerate through the recession. And more than anything else, not just accelerate revenue or opportunity, but what it allows you to accelerate is purpose and fulfillment. And that purpose and fulfillment matters more than anything else inside of this. And you can be a light in this. In Gravy, we're saying that we're built for this. We're built for this. That's our internal mantra. We're ready. We're built for this. We got a culture that, by bringing on, we want to be there to support. We want to be there to help. We're going to be the light in this dark time. We're going to be the positive message out into the market. And we're not just going to be like everything's okay. No. But we'll be there to listen, to love, and to support. So that's what communication is. Josh, I'm going to stop now and allow you to facilitate this however you want to facilitate it. Bring people in, whatever you need to do.
Yeah. So if you're on and you're a business owner or whatever, are you doing anything right now? Are you calling any audibles that are significant or material in your business? If so, we'd love to talk about that. because I know there's people who are kind of in gridlock. They're freezing up. You know, the muscles are just kind of like they're cramping a little bit because they're holding on to the yarn ball really tight right now. I'm wondering if this framework that Casey has presented is changing the way you're thinking or validating the way you're thinking. Respond in the chat box if you don't mind. Are you doing something different? See, Jenny Kruger at Jenny Kruger Photography said, we just started 2 times a week, weekly Zoom chats with our members, trying to keep them wanting to stay, basically. We're feeling like everyone is telling business owners to cut expenses so that they won't quit our membership. And that's for their Motherhood Anthology membership line. So, Jenny, would you be willing to hop on live with me and Casey if I can?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a hot seat.
Let's do a quick mastermind hot seat. Is that cool? Are you willing to do that, Jenny? I don't want to.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am.
She said, "OMG, no, LOL. I just got out of the shower." So she.
That would be a hell of a hot seat.
Yeah, we'd love to process an issue here though.
Look at, so we got Enid. I was going to launch an e-course, but instead I've offered up to 20 people to come into my private Facebook page for personalized marketing strategy to help them this season.
Yep.
Who has an issue right now that we can work on together? I would love to know. Would love to hear creative ideas to keep members that are requesting to drop. That's really good. Kim, can you jump on? Will you jump on right now?
Yeah, let's see if Kim gives us permission. I will add her to the.
Audio's fine, Kim.
Yeah, audio is fine. Let's see. Let me find you on the attendee list. I might need to. There you are. Allow to talk. Hey, Kim.
Hey, hey.
What's up? Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
Very good. Do we know you? Are you a client or an audience member? Or?
So I am one of Jenny's partners. You were just talking to Jenny. So there's 3 of us. There's me, Allison, and Jenny with the Motherhood Anthology, and we're all on here.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so would love to hear creative ideas for keeping members.
We're brand new clients. We've been with you guys about 3 weeks.
Okay, that's what I thought. So we're trying. Well, so you guys have a membership product where people pay you monthly, and I'm kind of speaking in general for context for everybody on the call. And are you forecasting churn? Or are you experiencing churn due to the current pandemic, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, truthfully, I think we're just a little nervous. So I checked out our churn rate, and it's really kind of in line with what it is every month. But it seems like every time we send an email or a correspondence, we get a handful of people, oh, I just need to drop because I'm cutting costs just to be safe. So now we're just a little nervous to correspond because when we send an email, it's kind of a reminder, oh, I could cut that for a little while. Let me send them a quick email. But so far, it's not been a huge wave, and it's kind of in line, but just kind of anticipating maybe what's to come. And I woke up this morning with the idea, well, when someone requests to drop for a little while, should we offer them maybe a free 30 days just to keep them, and maybe this will, their nerves will ease and they'll decide not to drop in 30 days. But then the fear there is that once that gets out into the community, hey, if you request, you're going to get a free 30 days. So we don't know if that's the thing to do or not either.
So here's the thing I would say, Kim. So I was at a church one time, and I was friends with one of the pastors, and the congregation was getting on to him, and it was like, hey, everybody's saying that you need to do this, and everybody's saying that what da 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 da, and he looked at him and said, "Who's everybody?" And really, it was like 5 people out of a church of like 2,000 people. And it was a great lesson of learning that when we get an email as a business owner, we're already scared all the time. Like, that's what people don't know about business owners is like, we're already scared all the time that everybody's going to leave. And everybody thinks you're crazy because you care about churn so much. But it's like, somebody's got to pay freaking bills around here. So you're already on edge to a level 10. And you get those 1 or 2 emails, and then we make a sweeping judgment, or we'll make like a 30 days pause or cancellation thing. So one thing I would say is if you have localized churn, it just is what it is. And just because one person says it doesn't mean that everybody's saying it. And you don't need to bring some policy out. And I don't think it's a good thing because somebody wants to get out that we start extending, a free 30 days to everybody. I think that's a bad way to do business. So price, you can write this down, price is a signal. Price is a signal. And if you start lowering your price and you start lowering your value based upon 1 or 2 or 10 people's situation, it's not that you don't need to be rude or mean to anybody. You just need to realize that your stuff is as valuable as you're priced it as. But when you start signaling that your price is dropping, that is one of the worst things you can do right now. And you will create a firestorm, a storm of churn, which you were scared about doing. I would not do that if I were you. That's my personal opinion.
Okay. Hey, while I have you, I have another quick question.
Yep.
So I personally have another business. It's a film lab. And so it's a service-based business. And right now with photographers not really shooting, we're still carrying on business as usual now, but we kind of know that we're going to fall. The wave of this will come to us eventually. And so we had the idea that maybe we would do some sort of online workshop with our clients as a means to, one, support the creatives that are not going to have any income for a while, and also just as a way to try to compensate our employees down the road if things slow down at our film lab. And so how do you feel about that in the state that we're in right now? So
ask your question in a shorter format.
Okay. So how do you feel about offering a very affordable course framed as a way to support our clients because they're going to make a portion of the income and our employees? Can you market in this? Or will people say, look at them trying to capitalize on this economy?
Heck yeah. Listen, hold on. Yeah, here's the deal. This is what I'm going to say. You can absolutely accelerate through this economy as long as you're not exploiting the pain of people or exploiting the virus language, exploiting all that. You can talk about it, just don't exploit it. But as it relates to your business, I want to tell everybody on here right now, the worst thing you can do is go and not communicate, not make offers, not do that. So Josh, talk about what the offer that was made in Nashville that was put into our Slack channels. That's an example of like, we can't just stop and we can't just quit. Like, we got to keep moving.
I've got two examples actually, and thanks Kim for joining us. I'm gonna try to rotate us over to somebody else, but we'll keep talking. I got 2 examples. I own a business also that serves real estate agents, residential real estate agents. And that business currently is providing a 3-step survival guide to the COVID-19 process. Now, if you have a client, for example, I think you got to look at everything. If you have a client who is, for example, a self-producer, like a real estate agent, they're in charge of their own gross commissionable income, and they've got to like have relationships during a social distancing hour. They need a survival guide because they didn't teach them this getting a real estate license. And so there's you can provide relevant offers, not exploitive offers to exploit them, but like relevant offers that help them weather the storm. They might be temporal offers. I could see somebody doing a 90-day boot camp or a 8-week boot camp that gets people through this, like how to be a photographer, during a crisis, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't understand. Like right now, if you're a course creator and you know how to do homeschool, like if I could see somebody right now putting together like a crash course on you've got your kids at home. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to put a Facebook, you're looking at Facebook and you're like going, oh my God, I've got my kids at home and I'm not used to having my kids at home all day. And I've got to be the homeschool mom and I'm working and I have this, or I'm a homeschool dad and I'm working and I have this or whatever. It's okay because that helps that person. And that's okay to do that ad. It's okay to do those things. So the thing I would say is it's okay to accelerate through this, but not at the neglect of helping and of the empathy of understanding what's happening in the world. And so if you don't get anything else out of today's call, the worst thing you can do, 3 things happen in crisis. Your brain has 4 chemicals. The serotonin goes up. You either fight, you flight, but what most business owners do is they freeze. And they go in the little hole and they start thinking about self-preservation and how much money, and oh my God, I hope they don't leave. That's the worst thing you can do right now is that you need to fight, but fight with a really good message, a really empathetic, really personal, really generous, and a message full of love. And inside of we should do that anyway, but right now more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a recession acceleration, and going back to this nifty diagram, which again, I put a link in the chat box. You can go to winwithgravy.com/graph and download this just so you've got it for your desktop or whatever as a reminder. But like another way to think about all this is to accelerate in a recession, you need to accelerate creativity and you need to accelerate frequency of communication. I would say that
we've increased it.
Yeah, like go to everyone, like full court press. Like Casey was saying, he's worked harder in the last week or two than he has in a long, long time. There's an accelerated frequency, an accelerated creativity. Great example that Casey was referring to in our Slack channel. One of our retention specialists popped this in here. This is a restaurant in East Nashville. Guys, East Nashville was crushed by a tornado just like 2 weeks ago. Now we've got the coronavirus. Look at this Mexican restaurant. This is possibly one of my favorite. But like, I know you're not all restaurants. My point is to like open up your brain, like be open-minded. Like there's different ways to do this. I know we have somebody in the jewelry business, for example, on this call. What basically Rose Pepper Cantina is providing gold level members at $1,500. You get a $2,000 credit in the restaurant for a year. Plus you get happy hour prices at the bar or with their drinks all day long, every day for a year. Plus you get next in line table openings for up to 8 people. So, but what's the deal with restaurants, right? Well, restaurants, you can't go to them right now. So Rose Pepper's sitting here going, we don't have cash flow. Like, how do we, like the world hadn't, our bills aren't stopping, so they need cash flow. So they're getting creative. I love this because what they're doing is they're pre-selling a package that they've never sold before. No restaurant has sold this. This is crazy talk.
Hey, Rhodes, listen, dude. Everybody's thinking like, oh my God, everybody wants to cut everything. Hey, that's not true. Yes, people are going to go through their expenses, but just because the stock market just went down, most people still have their jobs because it was the best. We can't forget that 4 weeks ago, it was the best employment, best economy, all this kind of stuff. So there isn't like, yes, 401ks take a hit. Yes, those things take a hit. But as it relates to their cash flow, most people's cash flow is stayed the same. Most people, I'm not saying everybody. And inside of that, you have the opportunity to create offers. Now, Rhodes, can we go ahead and go over to the opportunity bucket and talk about that and talk about the opportunities that are happening now?
Yep, absolutely.
So wait, pull the graph back up. I think this is huge. So guys, I'll just be really honest with you. I had to like be careful when, not the coronavirus. So these are 2 different things, like coronavirus and economic. I'm not talking anything about a horrible virus. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about just the economic side of this. The economic side of where we are. every 10 years is that you have more opportunity in the next 6 to 9 months than you'll have for another 10 years. Comes once every 10 years. And you say, what is that? We spent the last decade, I missed it the last time. I thought I was like not fearful, but the last time in the housing crisis and all that kind of stuff, like the red arrows that you see going down every single day, I was just as fearful as everybody else. I ran with the herd. This time, I had a plan. And listen, we have gravy people on here. On January 8th, we had our annual summit. And I told everybody, I literally said, there's about to be, I didn't know if it'd be now or, within the next 3 months. I definitely didn't know it'd be a virus. But I said, within the next year, we're preparing that there's going to be red arrows pointing down. And I said, when those red arrows are pointing in and everybody's running out, gravy and me personally as a business owner is going to be running back in. And we're going to be running because this is when you get the most opportunity for net worth gain. This is when you have the biggest opportunity to literally accelerate your finances through this time period. This is when the deals are, okay? So how do you think about opportunity inside of these buckets? Well, if you're the business owner, a couple is creativity. Now, we've already been talking about this. I talked to a business yesterday. It's called If I Made, and they're in the wedding business. So the wedding industry is known for not having recurring revenue because it's like a one-time event. You're a florist, you're a DJ or whatever. And the way most, food service or whatever it is, venue, and the way most of the wedding industry works, or photographer, we got a bunch of photographers on, is, you get a 50% down and you get 50%, or you do 3 pays or whatever. And so the problem is they don't have cash flow. So we started talking about what this would look like here's the deal. That's the sucky part of being in that business when it's a good economy, is that it's choppy, that you don't have recurring revenue. And so what we're able to do is we're going to start making, my buddy Hans, who's a DJ here in Atlanta, and he's got weddings being canceled. What we're looking at is payment plans in the wedding industry. And how do we do that? What does that look like? And so the reason there aren't payment plans in the wedding industry, you know why there's not? Is because nobody's made the offer. You didn't make the offer. You can absolutely start right now as a photographer and be the payment plan person. And you could do the annual package to say, hey, I know you're not getting your pictures taken right now, but what we're doing is an annual package where we'll do your fall pictures, we'll do your Christmas pictures, we're going to do seasonal pictures. It's going to be $49 a month for the next blah, 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 blah. And you can finance where you always have fresh pictures, just like you always would have fresh flowers or whatever. And you say, well, it wouldn't work. Well, I don't know if that would work either, but the creativity of it is that what you need to be doing right now is if you've got something in your business that you don't like, this is the opportunity to get creative and change it, because it doesn't matter. Because if it fails, it sucks anyway. So we're at the bottom from the standpoint. And so you can make those offers and do it. Another example was Donald Miller from StoryBrand. They were going to have their in-person StoryBrand workshop. And they were like, well, should we cancel? And they said, no, we're not going to cancel. We're going to take the workshop, put it online. Well, guess what happened when we put it online? He still was able to sell a bunch more tickets and still able to do the online. And he expanded the opportunity by moving it online, and people were willing to pay the money and made more money. So how can you do that? So what the creativity is, but you can't be creative when you're stressed. You can't be creative when you're thinking about yourself and self-preservation. You can't be creative when you're in that. And so I'm glad you're here today, because my goal is just to hopefully give you confidence to go out and make some offers, to go out and think again, to go out and see the world in such a way where you can make those offers. So that's a couple of things. The creativity of the taco shop that Josh talked about is huge as well. So the opportunity as we go up the ladder with your team is focus. Is focus. So we didn't put this in there, but I've got a what's called a cut keep matrix. A cut keep matrix. And so what that is that when you're thinking about your business in advance, so 6 months out, 3 months out, you can look at what do we need to cut and what do we need to keep. And that's activities, that's roles and positions, that's financial spend. Those are the big 3 categories. What are we going to cut, keep on spending? What are we cut, keep on roles? And what are we going to cut, keep on this? Because you've always got a plan that if something happens, like, what are we going to do first? What are we going to do second? And so it's a brutal exercise to go through, because you have to put all of your activity inside one of the boxes. And essentially what you need to be focusing on right now, and what your team needs to be focusing on, is low cost, high revenue return activities. Low cost, high revenue return activities. And so a lot of people, they've got a bunch of people doing stuff that's not producing revenue, or not producing or moving the needle in the business. And so at Gravy, we've been so super focused, and even in this moments of going so super focused, that everything that we do is that we're pushing the needles, that everybody's focusing activities. This is the opportunity to cut if you need to cut. If there's literally, and I hate to say this, but it's just true, in some businesses, there's just dead weight. Like, you've emotionally connected with somebody that's on your staff, and they're staying around and you're paying them. Well, this may be the opportunity where you reposition that role, and you've got to move them, and you got to focus the business. I'm not talking about just so you cut somebody, but the point is that you focus down. The opportunity now is to make sure that all the activities, all the team, and all the spending are going into the things that actually produce revenue in your business. So focus is the opportunity there. With clients is to be the guide. Rhodes, I think this is probably the thing that, I don't know, we're getting a lot of texts and a lot of emails saying, because we were talking about this with our list a month ago. Hey, the 2021 recession is coming. I've got the thing from December. I started posting it on LinkedIn saying, I thought it was going to be 2021. It happened to be much faster. And we're going to be the guide through this. No, I don't feel like I can guide every business and this, that, and the other, but talk about the recession. Take this funnel. Don't give us credit. I don't care. Take it and go teach this funnel to your people. Get everybody on a Zoom call, get everybody and then teach this funnel, and then guide people through the process. And then when you guide people through the process, that creates strength, that creates connection. You have the opportunity to be the guide for your clients and customers. Don't be scared. Do not be scared. Don't be act as everything is normal, but be the guide. And if your communication is personal and you're the guide to help people through this time, you're going to do nothing but build credibility and chips inside of your relationship. So that's what that is. And then last but not least is inside the world. Well, I'm not going to talk extensively about this, but guys, I am buying. Like, the world has cheap deals right now. Norwegian Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Think about that. I want y'all to think about this. Their stock price at $6.75 as of yesterday. Hey, I talked to somebody there. Their ships, just the assets of the ships, are worth more than that. So that is a completely undervalued thing. And now, no, you don't buy it, and it'll probably go down to $2. Whatever. I don't know. But you can't find the deals on companies are unbelievable. Listen, Apple is not, people are going to buy iPhones again at a rapid rate. This recession, different to others, is social. People are going inside. When they get the opportunity to go back out, restaurants are going to boom. We're going to spend, because the issue with this recession was not economically stimulated. There was nothing wrong with the underlying value. This is the recession is off of the virus that created the fear, and then the Russians and the Saudis did a little oil thing, and it all happened all at once, and that's what created it. But the economics are still there. The economy is still there. It just doesn't look like it. It's being shielded. And so we have an opportunity like never before as it relates to that, as it relates to acquisition of talent. People are going to be letting people go. Great people that you have the opportunity to be, if you're doing these communications into the market. Listen, the last 3 hires that we had said, yeah, I ran across your LinkedIn post. Hey, if you're not on LinkedIn right now and you're a business owner, like, it's literally like saying there's like 5,000 feet of gold sitting right there that you can go and you can have, because LinkedIn is dying for content. And you're going, well, nobody, my people aren't there. Well, that may be true, but I'm just telling you right now, it is a gold mine for recruiting teams. It's a gold mine for adding value. It's a gold mine for communication. It's probably you can't be a promoter. Nobody wants to see promotion there. It's got to be value add content, but there's cheap eyes right there. So products are cheap. acquisitions, talent, all of these different things. And so I say all that to say there's more opportunity in the world right now than there's ever been. The question is, who are you going to be inside of this? Are you going to be somebody that lives with, like, if you're scared, if you're fearful, if that's what's driving your operating system, you will not communicate well and you'll not see opportunity. It just won't work. You've got to step back and today be the day where you can go, what are the opportunities? How can I leverage as an owner creativity? How can I leverage as an owner focus for my team? How can I leverage as an owner clients to be the guide in the relationship? And what assets can I get into right now? And I'm telling you, I'm about to buy, and I'm not an investment advisor, so everybody probably lose all your money. That's my investment thing or whatever. I'm about to buy the crap out of some cruise lines because, dude, I think I'll get a 5X over a 5-year return if I can just take, money, drop it in there. So anyway, that's it from the opportunity standpoint. Now let's, Josh, you tell me what to do from here.
Well, let's talk about this for a second.
Yep.
First of all,
if it's helpful, that's what I want to know.
Give us a number one if this is helpful, or a number two if you'd rather talk about something else.
Yeah, for real.
And it's okay if you want to talk about something else. Like if there's an issue like processing your business, we're not Nostradamus, but we've been there and we've got a lot of bruises and scrapes from other arenas. So
what have we forgot to talk about, Renee? What have we forgotten to talk about?
Talk to everybody on here that doesn't have a ton of capital to deploy right now. What else should they deploy? What else should they do? I think it's probably a lot of what we've already said.
Well, listen, let me be clear. I talked to one of the best chief investment officers I've ever seen. He's awesome. And he called me and I picked up the phone and I said, let's get rich. And I was joking, kind of. But I said,
not really, not at all.
Not at all. As it relates to like investment world. And what he said back to me is, you know this as well as I do, from a business owner and entrepreneurship standpoint, your investments are like a 20, 30 year, you're not getting rich necessarily in investments, right? And over the long period of time. And if you do try to get rich, you'll probably lose all your money anyway because you're being greedy and you're going to miss out. So you got to think long-term there. The best opportunity you have is your current business.
Let's pretend just for a second, let's suspend reality and let's act like the virus doesn't exist and there's not a recession, but you just started a business. I see that there's Enid here as a team of 1.5. Doesn't have a ton of capital right now. What I would do, in or out of recession, when you're in early struggle, it's very important to go get oxygen. Casey and I call that cash. You got to get capital and cash. And a lot of times, the funny thing is that early struggle is the same as what now Rose Pepper Cantina is doing in the middle of a recession. And they've been around for a while.
Yes.
And that is, you've got to pre-sell packages. So for example, if you're a digital agency and you've got a monthly contract that you sell a 6-monther at the cost of 4 months, get you some cash. Yes, you're on the hook for some stuff. Yes, it's a discount, but cash is king. We all have heard that. So right now, if you're on this call and you just need capital, generate cash. Generate cash. But if you're on this call right now and you've got 1 million members or subscription payers and you've got cash flow, then that strategy is different. You're at a different sequence in the life cycle of a business. And so it's important for us to synthesize that.
Yeah, let me give you an example. I was on a phone call yesterday with a guy that's in the event space. The event space is worse than your space right now, I can tell you. Like they made all of their revenue on the actual physical events happening. And he's like, nobody's putting on events. And I said, that's not true. They're just changing where they put them on. So
yeah,
what if you pivoted your marketing message right now that you're the audio video company or the creative agency for online events? And what if your message then was, before you put on an online event, there's some things that you need to know. Like there's some things that you would fall over. There's some issues that you could have in doing this that you're going to miss. And then there's some science behind online events that you don't know about, that you have the opportunity. And then so essentially what we did is we took the event company that literally was, I mean, a big, very big event company. It's going to go to zero revenue Q2. Shifted from this right here. We went owner, creativity, we changed that, and then we said to the clients, now let us be your guide into the new world. Let us be your guide into the new world. The only way you can be the guide into the new world is by shifting your marketing message. And so that's what the thing I would say to everybody listening right now is to shift your message. So here's how we've done it at Gravy. Rose, do you want me to keep going or we need to move on?
No, that's good. Like, tell them why does Frodo follow Gandalf? Like, why would he even want to do that?
Yeah, well, there's a great example of a dude I know that when he was 18 years old, he was watching another guy do a backflip off of a diving board. And the dude could not land the backflip. And he started just saying, hey, you need to pull your knees higher and you need to spin faster off the board, all this kind of stuff. He gave him a little bit of coaching and the dude nailed the next backflip. And the guy was like, let me see you do a backflip. And the guy said, I don't know how to do a backflip. And he's like, what? You just told me how to do a backflip and you don't know how to do a backflip. The thing was, when you have an outside perspective, he was the guy just by giving a little bit extra tips and advice. He didn't have to be this new expert in the new world. You don't have to be a recession expert, an economy expert to talk about it in a macro way and shift your message in a way to where you're the guide in that area. And so that's one example. For us, it's that we are recession accelerated company. So we made that term up, recession accelerated. Okay. That's just what we made up. The point is, you made up a term, so obviously you know what you're doing. Yes, from the standpoint, it's like you're literally saying this is what we're doing and we're making up a term, and you need to make up terms. You need to make up things in your business in different language because then you can name the language, create the framework around the language, and then from that standpoint, you can help be the guide through this time. And it doesn't mean that you're right. It just means that you're helpful. It means that you can do that. So anyway, let's talk to some people. I see Julie Solomon is on. Hey, Julie, thank you for being awesome. Kim Brown, obviously all of them are still on. So Rhodes, ask a question. What can we do to help people right now? Or can we go video? People don't seem to want to go video, but.
No, Bree just put a good question in here. Let's see. And Mary,
can we bring her on and do a hot seat?
Yeah, Bree, can we talk to you audibly here? And then Enid is available too. Sure. Okay. Let me, let's see, Bree, where are you? Okay. Allow to talk. There she is. So you'll need to unmute Bree. Pretty please.
Hello?
Yeah. So ask your question again that you typed in, please.
Okay. So I got my first email just now while we were on. Basically I have a membership where they have a year commitment, although they pay monthly, they're expected to stay for a year and it's more like a payment plan.
Yeah.
And, someone just emailed me and said like, I have no income. I can't stay. And so I'm asking, what is the most understanding way yet fair way to respond to that?
What's your product?
It's a membership for musicians. So, a lot of them right now, their gigs have all been canceled.
What's your URL?
It is femalemusicianacademy.com. Actually, that's really not the best way to see it.
Let's talk about that macro for 1 second. Macro perspective of customers emailing in and saying, I can't pay anymore. I can't do this. Number one is empathy. So the way is you got to get to them quick. Empathy. I hear what you're saying. However, did they sign up for a commitment?
Yes.
Okay. They made a commitment and you're more than happy to help them. I'm going to give you 3 options as it relates to this. Would it be super helpful if we turn this, instead of it being a you've got 6 months left. Instead of it being 6 months, we're going to extend this to 12 months. Would that help you in the process? If so, let us go ahead and get you set up on that. So the biggest thing you guys need to think about with all this stuff is you got to make offers. You can't be scared to make offers. And even if somebody says, I can't do something, if you make them a better, like we've had people say, I don't want to do this membership anymore. I can't do it anymore. Oh, well, here's the offer we want to give you. The offer we're going to give you is, what if we cut 50% off what you owe us and you just pay it all up front? Would you do that? Okay, I'm in. And then you're off the hook and then we're good. So first thing I would say is make them offers and don't accept it at face value. It doesn't mean that you're rude, but they signed up for the thing and you can do that. Unless you just say, hey, I want to off the hook. Everybody's off the hook. If everybody's off the hook, then that's your decision as well.
Agreed. We've done that a lot, Bree. Casey and I had we had a company that we ran called the Rocket Company. We had $97 a month, 12-month payment plans. Casey owned it. I was in charge of sales and marketing and running the show a little bit. And we had those every day. And you've just got to present that offer. Also with real estate agents, same thing. We get those emails all the time at Agent Leads, and you just got to be empathetic. But at the same time, from a functional, don't miss what Casey said, on a highly functional level, offering them a prepaid, almost like a pay to get out of jail card almost. A lot of times they may not have a ton of cash, but like if they're on a 12-month contract, offer them if they have 12 payments left or 8 payments left. It's kind of like what I was saying on the digital agency. Just get cash from them, because what that doesn't do is devalue your product and deliverable. And what it does do is actually help you with this month's P&L and buys you time to replace their churn. It actually buys you several months to go replace them as a client. So
I totally agree with that in general. This particular email, they said like, I have 0 income and I have kids to feed. So I know that she's not going to go for that.
Sure. Well, yeah, like Casey said, don't take the first volley as 100% truth. Many people are posturing.
For sure.
And so that's a big part of it.
I think Julie's raising her hand. Is that what I see, Roach?
Thanks, Bree. More in the chat.
Where did the thing go?
Let's see here. Julie is raising her hand. But Julie, go to the chat if you have a specific question.
Or we can just unmute her.
Let me find her on the old, see, Julie Solomon.
Yes.
Can I unmute you? Let's see, allowed to talk, Julie. I'm going to assume that you want to talk to us. Here we go.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Thank you guys for doing this. One of the things I've always loved about your business in terms of customer relations and communication is how well you create authentic connection through your emails, specifically with your copy. There's a lot of storytelling within it that is very engaging. And so I wanted to see what your tips would be during a time like this, to when we are just wanting to reach out to our community, support them, serve them in the way that we can. How can we speak to them in a way that is uplifting and proactive and productive during a time like this, and not being so reactive and I don't want to say salesy, because I'm a true believer in sales, but just kind of keeping the conversation more light and polite and engaging than anything else. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Let me ask a follow-up, Julie. Are you talking about mass communication or external marketing communication, or more client communication? Because I believe those are two different things.
I would agree. External marketing.
External marketing. Yeah. The number one thing that we're doing is we are being I know I keep coming back to this, but the empathetic, like, running a business was already hard and now it's harder. And here's what, in telling the personal stories and like the personal, like, hey, I know I look put together on my website and, you know, this, that, and the other, but let me tell you about, like, 2 days ago, I was in full freak out mode and this happened and this, again, I'm making that up, but telling the story that people would be surprised that you would tell is one of our strategies that we like to tell. So did you see my LinkedIn post yesterday? I'm assuming you did not.
Yeah. No, not the LinkedIn.
Okay. So my LinkedIn post yesterday starts, here's the headline. My grandfather took his life because of stress from owning a small business. So that's the headline. That's a true story. It was a pivotal, life-changing thing in my life. It has exploded on LinkedIn. Again, why? Copywriting. So true story, excellent headline, but getting real with people. And everybody says, oh, I'm real. Oh, I'm real. And I think this is the time to kind of like, I'm not talking about from a Instagram story perspective, but I'm talking more from a written perspective is what's the story that you're scared to tell that about this time? Like, what is one? What's the real Julie right now?
Let's see, a story that I'm scared to tell.
Can I give a quick framework that's helpful? There's 3 types of stories basically. There's the origin story, the customer story, and the product story. Those are the 3 categories. So anytime you need to tell a story, if you get to pick one of those ice cream flavors, and then it's almost like a niche tree. You can find stories. So maybe there's something from your origin story that you can splinter off, or maybe there's a client story that's super encouraging, or like Casey's saying, you know, scary, or, you know, a product story, et cetera, if that helps.
Yeah. I mean, something that happened recently was that my family we were on spring break earlier this week and then actually ended up leaving early because the people in the area that we were at were not taking just the social distancing seriously, and it was business as usual. And I'm 6 months pregnant. And so I just didn't really want to be around that.
Yeah.
That's great hook.
Fantastic.
Now let's connect it though. Let's do it. So there's that, but what do you have to sell right now? Do you have anything people can buy right now?
Yeah, we have 2 online programs that people can buy. They're evergreen.
Click on it, Josh. Is it courses?
Yeah. So Pitch It Perfect would be one.
And what is that course?
It is it's an online course that influencers, content creators, and bloggers can take to pitch and land brand deals.
Oh, wow. So it would go from, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
When did you start this business? Like, what was the quick origination of it?
2016.
2016. So the hook is I'm 6 months pregnant and we have these people doing this and it scares me. And that takes me back to when I first started this thing. And what people don't realize about where we are right now is you would be thinking when it comes to pitching a brand deal would be the furthest thing from your mind right now. And the reason why it's the furthest thing from your mind right now is because nobody's doing it. That's why right now is the absolute best time to do it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, because everyone freezes right now and they just assume that brands and businesses aren't in business. And so they just freeze.
Yeah, so while the world freezes, it creates an open opportunity highway for your brand to shine through more than ever before. Let me just tell you a story about how you did that. And so in a good economy, in the best economy, and so that's how you just change your messaging. Same product, different messaging, but a very heartfelt story about you being scared. And I think those kind of things work really well. Yeah. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
I know, Julie, you did podcasts, right?
Yes. We have the Influencer podcast.
Do you offer webinars?
Yes.
Okay. Then what I would do is with your webinar funnel, use these type of stories in your invitation registration sequence for sure. Because your webinar is what shrinks space and time between the top of your funnel and the bottom, right? So
right.
that's where I would, like on a practical level, that's where I'd rush to apply this. So
Hey, let me give one more. That I was just thinking about, Julie. This could work really well. What if you went and found the stories, like a couple of interesting stories of people during the Great Depression or during a crisis, the brands that were birthed during those that are now known brands, and they took that opportunity to do it. That's an interesting story as well, to be able to say,
Yep.
So I'm going to go back through the 5 big crashes that we've had and show you the 5 brands that leveraged crashes to start the brand, and now it's a house-made name. That's another example of what you could do.
Yeah, love that.
Julie, you're awesome. We're going to move on to Tara at Successful Ad Club.
Thank you.
See you, girl. Tara, if you still have time.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
See you, girl.
Hey, here we come. Let's see, Tara, I've permitted your microphone. We'll just need to unmute.
Hey, gentlemen, can you hear me?
Hey.
Yeah.
So,
okay, fabulous.
So Tara's a cool gravy client, Successful Ads Club, but you had a question. So ask Casey that question while I find the link that you dropped earlier.
Okay, cool, sweet, thanks. Well, as you guys know, because we're clients of yours, we have our membership, and you know, it's growing, it's good. We've got like 800 members at any given time. We're really thrilled with it. And I just want to say this has been awesome content. One thing we've been doing is 30 days of survival strategies and helping our small business owners look at, you know, the opportunity and find ways to create revenue right now. We're getting so much feedback about this. So today's content really validates that we're on the right track for that, or with that. But my big question is, so when a member cancels, and I'm talking outside of this situation, we honestly have not seen an increase in cancellations. When a member cancels, what's a good volley back to them before, you know, I'm talking about just with our customer care team, no gravy involvement yet. They cancel, like, what offer would we make back to them? You guys really started me thinking along that, but I'd love your guidance of what you've seen works well.
Send a glitter bomb first.
Okay, cool. Like that.
Oh man, what we would call these, the category here would be called a stay bonuses.
Stay bonuses. Okay, cool.
Stay bonuses come in 3 types. One is easiest one is price. So fast forwarding the price, extending the price, changing the price, you know, whatever. Number 2 is a content stay bonus. Content may be access. So it may be, well, it could be from, well, you can get access to get on the call with me. I'll do a 30-minute personalized session with you to keep you. Again, I'm making that up. Or it could be a content bonus of something extra that you had. Well, what if we gave you this other course too that's off the shelf and did?
Yeah, it's another way to say what Casey's saying is you don't necessarily have to change the deliverables as much as the experience. So you might, like he said, provide more access, but you really don't have to reinvent your wheel that you already have. That's one of the best ways. Remind me what your monthly pricing is on your flagship.
$79. And then we have, when we do this promotion, we have a good number of members that will upgrade to 3 years at a 1-year discount. So they get 3 years for the price of 2. And then we also have, when we run this promotion, we have a fair amount of people take us up on it, of a lifetime membership, $19.97. We just introduced a payment plan on that. But my curiosity is, do you think, I mean, what if we gave them a crazy deal on the lifetime membership and just say,
yes,
I don't know what that would be like. I don't want to devalue us, but what if we did something wild with it, like lifetime for the price of an annual or something?
Yeah, you also got to remember these communications are pretty much happening in a vacuum.
Yes, right.
So you don't have to worry about burning the barn down too much.
Right. Good point.
What you're doing really, or you're cutting deals. It's just like a car salesperson would do. Like, they don't want you to leave the lot. So wait, before you go, let me go talk to the finance manager one more time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but, and I'm not saying everybody needs to become a car salesman. That's not my point, but you need to be creative in your deal making and your offer making, without a doubt, even on the backside of the client relationship. And I think the Lifetime is a really good example of that.
Okay.
I think, can I get one other, it applies to you, but it applies to everybody, and it applies to Gravy on this call, is never take a face value of why they want to cancel.
Yes.
Ever. So the most important part is literally the best offer you can make is getting on the phone with somebody.
That's right.
To say, I hear you. Can I call you right now? Because I literally want to hear it from you. I want to understand it. And number one question that you can ask somebody, say, would you help me? Because obviously I can't see where the value's not going through. And I'm not going to try to pitch you on this call. I just want to talk with you. And if you walk away with some advice or something. So that's one of the best things that, because if it's like, oh, I want to cancel. Okay. Why? Well, and my favorite thing is, your stuff's great. This is what I say. Oh, we love you guys. Your content's great. And they give it's just me right now. We're kind of cutting costs of the business. That's never true. Ever. It's never true. So you've got to get down to what's the real root cause? And the way you get to the root cause is you got to ask the question 5 times. So you've got to ask 5 times. Okay, well, why does that matter to you? Here's how it is. It's like, I want to cancel because I want to cut expenses. Okay, so why does cutting business expenses matter to you so much right now? Well, my business partner, Okay, well, why does the business partner matter to you? Oh, why is it? And you'll get down to the real root cause after 5 whys.
That's so good. On a $79 membership, would you still make calls like that? I mean, I think that would be great to collect feedback from a sample. Would you do that as a standard procedure?
I think, yes, I would. See, here's the difference.
Okay.
As you can see from this, I'm all about how long does it really take to have a phone call with somebody? It doesn't take a long time. It's online marketing has become lazy, lack of just hey, I'm gonna Tony Robbins says this, and I love it. If you treat every relationship like it's the beginning of the relationship, there will never be an end.
Oh, so good.
So if they sent you an email before the relationship started, said, hey, I want to buy from you, we would jump on a call with them. But if they were to leave us, it's like, I got to do the, again. It's like, no, we're missing the point. And so my thing would be to build into the culture that we treat every client like they're our only client. And that's how we're going to operate.
I love it. Thank you. It's amazing.
And Jamie's texting right now, who works on your account, and Jamie said that she loves you. So.
Oh yeah, we love Jamie. She is amazing. So glad you guys have Jamie. So we have Jamie, and thank you guys so much. Casey, I'm going to send you a little text later.
Okay.
Thank you for your amazing email the other day to everybody. So helpful. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Why did that email matter to you?
Oh, well, your personal cell phone was like, what?
But why though?
But
why was that what?
Why? It's like the personal care. Exactly to your amazing graph earlier, looking at the world and the clients and all that stuff. Also, there was some sort of the way that email was written about how you were built for this. And well, first of all, okay, let me break it down. Number 1, intrigue factor, right? Recession accelerated business, I thought was so intriguing. And it got my wheels spinning. I think that we might be a recession accelerated business, even though we didn't know that until now, right? We've got a really good price point. People are cutting their ads managers, etc. So that was an
Wow.
intrigue.
What an offer. Cut your ad manager.
Yeah.
And, yes.
And we're seeing it right and left right now. So the intrigue factor, and then the second factor would be so Recession accelerated the care, obviously, with your personal cell phone number for clients and customers. I thought that was incredible. So access. And the third thing I would say was the credibility. Like, your business is built for this. And it just was such a level of, like, not that I was thinking in my mind, which of our vendors are built for this sort of, downturn? Who's gonna provide that level of service to us and not, pause or cut services at all? I wasn't thinking that, but when you said that, it was like, oh, they're locked in. I don't even have to think about that.
That's good. And the reason I say that is the same thing. I would just copy it if I were you, and you, that's the offer you make to your list. You don't have to put
I freaking love it.
But just swipe it. And then the other thing you could do is swipe the different sections of it and just use that section as an email in and of itself. Another thing I found, guys, here's another hack. I think this would be good too. Share what I never knew this mattered. Share what you're doing for your team and your staff. Because the whole thing about this is good for Julie as well, that talked a minute ago. Because everybody in copywriting always says, don't talk about yourself because nobody cares. You always make the copy about the other person. I disagree. We're starting to see that when we're talking about what we're doing internally, that there's like a goodwill that happens or like, hey, these people really do care because here's what we're doing for our team. And we talk about it externally, and it's been a win-win. So if you're doing anything internally for your people, talk about it externally.
Oh, Casey, can I say one more thing that I think everybody would benefit from?
Yes, ma'am. Josh, I don't know time and whatever. You tell me.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Just because you said that was the other thing with your email. It was so to see the list of benefits. And I don't think you named everything that you guys are doing for your team. I was so inspired and thinking, what can I do for my team? And I'll just say this, as we did a case study for our community, local gymnastics center. They sent out an email, beautiful email. I think my swimming center, like all the kids' activities, send their emails. This one, I told my husband, do not cut gymnastics no matter what we do. Like, if we have to cut things, we're not cutting gymnastics. It's because they sent an amazing email. And to your point, they talked about the team. Your continued membership, even during this time, allows us to keep our team members stable. I want you to know that we are focused on them and their families. And, they depend on us for employment, and we will not break that commitment until we absolutely have to. And that was so beautiful. I loved it so much. And then they said, and to make up for this, your classes, we'll give everyone makeup classes. They'll be unlimited, or there's no time expiration date on them, which there normally is. And everybody who continues their membership, you will get unlimited classes for at least 1 to 2 months, maybe more, once we're back up and open. So such a good example.
Yeah, it's a purpose-driven. So like, if you can help people understand that they are contributing to a purpose, which now we really believe that. We love our people. Like, this is not, we're just now telling people what we do. But if it's a purpose-driven email of, when you pay this $99, let me tell you what it does that you don't see. Awesome. All right, Rhodes.
So real quick, Tara, I know you've got to go. Are you part of are you part of the Gravy referral program?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody on here, and Tara, I know you got to go, so I'm going to let you go. But before we leave, we're going to wrap up. You guys need to know about this. If you know a business and that has subscription-based or membership-based revenue models, you need to be able to make money by sending Gravy referrals. And so the way you learn more about this is email Britton. He's the best looking guy on the Gravy team, unbelievably handsome guy.
He looks exactly like Tim Tebow, but better.
He's basically a Red Bull F1 Formula One racer. But But what you do, if you send a client to Gravy, Gravy gives you $1,000 and gives gives $1,000 to them, so that over the next 6 weeks or whatever during the pandemic, people have extra capital for healthcare and payroll and office expenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we are recession accelerated, but as we accelerate, those who are coming with us accelerate as well. And the affiliate referral program is the way you do that. So write down Britton's email real quick. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Make some money with us and help others save and return money to the bottom line.
Every closed deal, Britton will he'll enclose a selfie email.
That's right. He actually, if you haven't heard of Potato Parcel, we'll send a potato with Britton's face on it to every referral partner. All right. Hey, guys, thanks so much for spending time with us. We love business owners. We love CEOs, small business owners, startup, all the way through the life cycle. Casey and I are going to do more pop-up masterminds. So if you want to be part of those, make sure you're on our email list. Go to gravysolutions.io or go to winwithgravy.com/graph and make sure you download today's resource.
Text me. I want to hear your feedback. Text me. 770-881-2340. 770-881-2340.
All right, guys. We will send a recording out. Peace out. See ya.
See ya.